Obvious, no? Everything that comes goes. Everything that starts ends. Everything that begins ends. And this includes all our experiences, all our whole life is a coming and going. And for me, I'm traveling again in 3 days, and I will be gone for 3 months this time. And the beauty about the letting go or the leaving is that I never know, will I ever see this place again? Will I see you again? Will I see you now? Will I see my love again? Will I, it's you never know. So anything that our mind tells us that we actually know is pretty much an illusion. And the strange thing that our mind does is it tries to create a security where there isn't. And it tries to create attachments or holdings or but no matter how much we hold on, things come and they go. And somehow the more we actually let go into that isness, the more present we become. And the moment we are present, there is actually no more time. So beginnings and endings. And this creates this possibility that we share in Satsang as a more concentrated essence, that obviously there is someone or something unnameable, which has been given many names, that is aware of the coming and going. And that awareness is really more our deepest stillness. Is that what we know from the very beginning? I just opened a page in one of the Osho magazines where Osho talks about it. That from the very beginning, when we were born, we were stillness. We were not the mind. And then more and more we learned thoughts. And every thought that we learned in the best intention is not who we are. It's a borrowed idea. And then more and more as we grow up, we believe that we are this idea, and then we fight for it, and then we struggle for it, and then we create wars. And we create all the inner wars, outer wars. We create all these things based on something completely unreal that has been, that we started to believe to be me. That's what it's usually called the ego. And then we live accordingly. And then all our anxieties, all our fears are fears because that which we thought we can hold on to or define ourselves with is going. Everything is going. Everything is coming, everything is going. And Ramana Maharshi already said it so beautifully more than maybe almost 100 years ago. Rest as that which doesn't come and go. What is that? Nobody has ever found anything there, and yet it's very real. It's the very essence of our being. And when that essential silence or this essential spaciousness of being begins to come more to the foreground again. It doesn't mean you have to stop thinking. It doesn't mean we have to change our beliefs. We can play with that. It just means that we stay aware of what we could call the inner sky. We stay aware of awareness. That's what has these huge names like enlightenment. And when the human mind hears enlightenment, it believes that there is something to be achieved later once we have done enough spiritual practice and we have met the right master and we have done all the right things on the spiritual path, and then that carrot of enlightenment eventually gets grabbed. So what is enlightenment? It's a misleading name for the mind, because the mind is becoming. I don't know if you have that application, the Osho No Thought of today. It's an iPhone app, very recommendable.
Sorry, what was it again? Osho.
The Osho, the No Thought of the day.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And you can create a timing when you want it. And the last 3 days, when we listened to it, funny enough, there came the same no thought. And it's really, he said it in just 2 sentences, the very essence.
Say it again.
Being is enlightenment. Becoming is ignorance. Yeah? And that I mean, if we really allow that in, not just mentally, that's the essence. Because everything in our egoic structure wants to become, wants to somehow get somewhere, because we are already a river that moves. It's just that we're not aware of the river that moves or of the flower that is opening. So we want to become the flower that is already inherent in us. So we want to become enlightened because we are already awareness, we are already enlightened. There is impossibly to become enlightened or awakened, or whatever the spiritual terms are. It's impossible. How can you become what you are already? And what we are on the deepest, it's so simple, in the deepest truth, what we are is of course not describable, because it's not part of the borrowed identity that is made from thought. Can you follow that? It's so logical, so simple. And that it means it includes every thought. Now, this is, if we start really going into this, it may be kind of very, very uprooting, because we have created roots somewhere where they are not real. We've created roots in thought, in identifications, in identities, in whatever we are attached to, whatever we think we are. And when we hear that, then it's not about trying not to be attached. We are all in a body-mind, and of course we, on a certain level, it's very helpful to be identified with the body so that we can take care of it and see that it's a beautiful vehicle. But if we then think we are just the body, we have to live in fear because this body gets old. I don't know about you, but if you look in the mirror, it's undeniable.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, then we try to find the right strategies. And for a while it can deceive, but how can you deceive yourself? You know? It's not so relevant when you're so beautiful and young. Then it's not relevant yet. But eventually, it just chases us. And okay, but who is aware of being young and who is aware of getting older? What is that? It must be here all the time. Consciousness must be here. The screen on which the movie is played must be here for the movie to be played. You don't need to discard the movie. But the different, let's say the difference between freedom and bondage, or the difference between happiness and struggle, or the difference between suffering and ease. And ease doesn't mean just ease in a chaise longue. Ease can be in massive activity. Is with what are we identified? What do we believe to be me? And when you start investigating in this, that's why self-inquiry can be very helpful. When you investigate into who is this me, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, the shocking realization, the shocking experience, not the intellectual analysis, but the shocking experience within is that there is nobody. And then, of course, the mindsets argue, but of course I'm here, what are you talking about? Nobody. Well, no separate entity that we can call I. Of course, there's a body, a mind, a very unique patterns of feelings and emotions and struggles and childhood stories, and all this is on one level very real. You know, in the last Satsang we talked about the different universes, the parallel universes. It's a nice concept because within the body-mind there's a lot of things that can be transformed. But are they relevant to who we are? Ultimately, when you recognize who you are, then you just relax into whatever pattern moves through. And yes, I mean, I don't know about you, but I tried for so many years when I was a therapist, I tried to change my patterns or to become a better human being. And I have to admit complete defeat. It's all my patterns are there. And there is a very relieving situation that it is so obvious that I'm not my pattern, so the energy, the life energy that we normally fuel any kind of patterns with, I mean, I would very suggest fuel your positive patterns, your happy patterns, your joyful patterns, your peaceful patterns, your harmony patterns. But if you fuel your struggling patterns, your suffering patterns, your habitual, I don't know, jealousy patterns or whatever patterns that hurt you,